Now, before we get to part 2, I have to give a quick shout out for today's sponsor. It's FTX US. You've probably heard of them before. They're very popular as a very large crypto exchange. They have millions of users on it trading crypto. That's not my thing. I don't know how to do analysis on these things. I think they're speculative and very volatile. It's just not for me.
One of the largest US regulated cryptocurrency exchanges in the world, trusted by millions of users to buy, sell, track, and trade both crypto and NFTs.
They've been the ones that are going out, investing in and buying other crypto exchanges that are struggling. So they've been growing very quickly. They bought a chunk of Robinhood. They bought a chunk of BlockFi.
I have to decide if I want to do more, but know that if I'm doing more, it's just a cash grab. Because I got 10 days to make these videos. But hey, I'm going to be transparent about it. Hey, it's a lot of money. It's like, a couple $1,000 a video. And for 30 seconds, read, whatever.
I love the game of money in climbing that wealth pyramid and things like that. I think it's fun.
And this is a red flag that everybody should be paying attention to. I'll explain in just a moment, right after I mention that if you want to take advantage of buying the crypto dip, check out our sponsor today, FTX. To learn more all about the FTX trading platform and their trading apps.
Hey everyone, this is Chris. Welcome to the channel. So we're talking about FTX, and they're essentially buying up everyone, right? YouTubers, stars, politicians, and they're trying to influence policy to make it more easier to get your money. And I'm serious on this. This is really quite risky because if you understand what's going on with Voyager and Celsius, these crypto exchanges that are going to zero, people are losing everything. And I want to make this as clear and simple for you of why I'm concerned about these things. Also, too, if you're new here, my name is Chris, professor for about 10 years, and this is to help you navigate and grow. So I want to start with this. This is a great quote from Mr. Buffett, Mr. Warren Buffett. He went to my school, actually, so I like him. But he says, when the tide goes out, you get to see who is swimming naked. And it's funny, even Mark Cuban is recognizing the wisdom of Warren Buffett because Mark Cuban lost a bunch of money on crypto. And this is a real thing, guys. You can lose all your money. This is something else regarding Buffett. He thinks, he wouldn't buy all the crypto in the world for 25 bucks because it's worthless. It doesn't produce anything, according to Mr. Buffett. So I'm right there with you, Warren. And, I emphasize this to people as well because there's a lot of new people in the market. And essentially, that's what a bubble is. I lived through the dot-com bubble, I lived through 2009. I can just tell you, when everyone's talking about something, that's when it's time to get out. And, this is what happens, right? Crypto, the Voyager lenders basically going to zero. Many YouTubers were punching this. As Jeremy over at Finance Education was pumping up Voyager. He lost a bunch of money, but we have no idea if Voyager paid him money to promote said things because this is something that FTX is doing. They're buying up people, and I wouldn't be shocked if Voyager also did the same thing. This is just how the world works, right? These companies pay people to influence people to buy it, and then people lose everything. And the customers are angry about this. So I want you to understand the risks are real, and this is Jeremy crying that he lost 96% of his investment. But there's a possibility he was paid to do this kind of stuff. We have no idea, that kind of thing. Jeremy is known for pumping up penny stocks and over-the-counter pink sheets, which is scammy, and I'm being real. It's the same the Wolf on Wall Street kind of stuff. So anyone who pumps up pink sheets, penny stocks all the time, it's scammy. Mark Cuban is also caught up in this stuff, right? He invested money in Voyager. And that's why I mentioned before, be very careful out there because oftentimes the big money is backing these things to take your money, essentially. It's a real thing, guys. FTX has bought up Steph Curry, right? He's in on the gig. They're also not buying up Tom Brady. He's in on the gig. And these are expensive people, like the most expensive people. And they're not doing this out of the kindness of their heart. Tom Brady and Giselle, they're early investors in FTX, right? And we're talking about billions of dollars. We're not talking about small money, right? Not small millions of dollars. We're talking about billions of dollars here. In fact, they were on a funding round of trying to raise $1 billion, like literally it's right here. And this is all in public. It's not a conspiracy theory or anything of this nature. We're talking about big money, right? Trying to manipulate things so they can make more money and essentially take money from the small retail investors who unfortunately just are unknowledgeable about such things because there's real risks in this stuff. There's Tom Brady again pumping this stuff, right? So I want you to understand it's not just the YouTubers, right? It's Tom Brady and stuff. And regarding the YouTubers, they get paid a lot of money. If you watched my video last time, Tom Nash revealed that he got 50 grand a month to pump up FTX. Who knows what the bigger ones like Meet Kevin, if he's getting like 100K a month, who knows? I mean, it's that kind of money that we're talking about here. So, everyone has to make choices in their life. I say no to this stuff because I know it's dirty money. But, I get it. Some people, they're all about money. But the problem is, at the end of the day, is you have to ask yourself this fundamental question. Are you okay promoting something to where someone put money into it and their money could go to zero? Are you okay taking that money? And that's what we're talking about here. And why is it like this? Well, right now, crypto, and you can look it up for yourself, it's under the regulations, or quote regulations, it's not pretty much unregulated at the moment, of the CFTC. So this is the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, not the SEC. And this matters because it's funny, when you take a look at the, you guys Google it for yourself, please. The cftc.gov/Bitcoin, when you type that into the browser, it brings you to this, and I just laugh. It brings you to this website. And I show you this is because basically this shows that the department is underfunded. That's essentially what this shows you. This is a really, really sort of legacy 1990s style website, I guess you could say, but it shows they're underfunded. And the FTX, which is bankrolled, and essentially the founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, he is certainly trying to buy up influence at the CFTC and wants to sort of keep it that way, as being, I won't say unregulated, I'll just say regulated in his favor, right? This is him at Congress. I'm not just making random stuff up. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is all in the public. Everything's public. So one thing I will say about, our government, it's all public. But the thing is, oftentimes people just aren't looking, even though this is all public. There he is again. And if you don't understand what this is about, what's he advocating for? So the biggest gist, and the big thing I don't like about this guy, his company, the FTX, is based in the Bahamas. They moved to Hong Kong, they left there, and then in the Bahamas. And essentially what it is, it's just a tax shelter place, right? It's cheating the system. I'm not thrilled about this. You should not be thrilled about these things when big companies or any companies has these basically, shell sort of offices in Bahamas, or sometimes they do it in Ireland as well. But it's basically gaming the system, and you're using this money, tax sheltered, tax dodging, if you want to say, to buy up politicians, buy up YouTubers, buy up influence, and try to control the system. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so that they can do derivative trading or options trading, a better way to explain it, futures trading, right? It's highly, highly risky. They also want to make it so that it's easy to get leverage on these things. So basically if you don't get it, first, leverage is risky, meaning borrowing money to buy stuff, right? Borrowing money to buy crypto, borrowing money to buy stocks. Also, too, when you're doing options, it's even more risky. So now we're talking about leverage trading on options trading, which is essentially betting on the future. And it's extremely risky for those of you guys who know this stuff. And a lot of YouTube channels these days sort of promote options trading, which is extremely risky. It's basically gambling. And it's a big problem I have with many, many YouTubers out there. I've never promoted options trading. I've said that several times on my channel. I'm not an options person. I don't believe in that stuff. I just think for regular people, it's basically gambling. And even professional people, we all know it's gambling. So, if you can understand what's going on here, and for those of you in crypto space know this as well, the whales control the crypto market, okay? I think everyone in crypto knows that. It's not anything outlandish. And oftentimes you don't even know who these whales are. So this is where it becomes extremely risky. And this chart here is basically showing you how people are betting on the cryptos market. And essentially, this essentially is leverage money controlled by big money. And as a small retail investor, you don't know when suddenly someone just pulls the rug out, whereas they know. That's the difference, right? They know when to get out. It's basically, this kind of stuff is, because it's unregulated, it's heavily fraught with insider trading kind of stuff, right? And you're at their mercy. The other issue as well is, this person, Sam Bankman-Fried, he's essentially going to choose who our presidents are. He's going to choose who our senators and representatives are, using all of this money, essentially tax sheltered in the Bahamas, taking it from retail investors. And if you're okay with that, if you're okay with one person having this much control, go for it. I believe in democracy and the idea of one person, one vote, not person with $1 billion can control everything. And that's my major concern with this. Not only is it one person with billions of dollars that can influence everything, also too, the risks are very real. When these crypto things are unregulated, right, or the person who owns the crypto exchanges are writing the regulations, it can lead to a lot of problems. So, you guys know this, right? Binance and Celsius, like they make up these fake tokens, basically fake money, get people to buy it, and you'll lose everything. It's like a Terra Luna kind of situation. And remember, you don't want to give the control of the regulations to these people. When these things are unregulated, you're not insured by the FDIC or anything of that nature. You know, if you have a bank account in, say, USA, and you know, the bank has some sort of problem, sorry, I said Korean for a minute there, has some sort of problem, you know, you're insured for like 250K. I believe brokerages, you're insured for like 500K, something of that nature. So that's the idea, right? Banks, that there is a reason why we have banks and regulations, because all these things are put in place because of the Great Depression, right? Back in the 30s, like we need to protect ourselves from bank runs, when people run into the bank to grab all your money and never did at the same time, and the bank becomes insolvent, the Great Depression. A crypto thing, which essentially what people are doing is essentially bank runs on crypto, and that's why these crypto exchanges freeze their people's accounts, et cetera. But you know, FTX, they want to make this stuff even more risky. And I'm telling you, it's setting up for a massive fall. I lived through the dot-com bubble, I lived through 08, 09. It's the same kind of stuff. So do be leery of this thing, right? He's even testifying in front of Congress, talking about how all this stuff is offshore. He wants to help them write the regulations out of the kindness of his heart. It's a joke. You guys understand this, right? And you know, I really want you to understand this, that, you know, we started talking about just particular YouTubers and how they're getting money, you know, 50K to 100,000 a month from this guy. He's going to be donating, you know, up to $1 billion in the 2024 election. It's a lot of money, you know. And like I said, I prefer living in a democracy where it's one person, one vote. Not person with $1 billion can decide who's going to be president, who's going to be senator, and who's going to be representative. And living in that money is tax sheltered, right? So, you know, this is a real problem. They're looking to buy Robinhood. And I get it. There's some people there, oh, Chris, you're just jealous of Sam Bankman-Fried. You're just jealous. I mean, I guess so. I didn't go into this world because I don't think it's right. I think these people are crooks. I think if they truly, you know, were honest and innocent people, they wouldn't move their business to the Bahamas. To me, that is a big red flag. And this is something too, which is, it's just funny, which I know that the Jeremy at Financial Education watched my videos. I brought up this Bahama stuff a month or so ago, brought up Friedman, you know, buying of all politicians, et cetera, a month or so ago. And when Jeremy made the now deleted breaking up with FTX video, he mentioned all these reasons that I had mentioned, you know, a month or so ago. And it just made me realize that, yeah, these people they're not smart enough to figure this stuff out. They watch my stuff, which is fine, I get it. But understand that most of these YouTubers out there, they're just in it for the money, and they're not smart enough or have any morals to care about you, right? Smart enough meaning they can't see the crash coming, or have morals because it doesn't matter to them. They just want to get your money and laugh at you while they'll do it. And this is how these people are. So I can be way more mean. I can say a lot more mean things, but I'm trying to keep it nice. But this is very serious, you know. The 08-09 crash, and if you guys haven't seen the movie The Big Short, please see it. But the joke of that movie was like the people go to the strip club, right? You know, people take off their clothes place, and the stripper's like, yeah, I got 5 houses. It's like the guy's like, how is this even possible? And the whole point was that you had these people. Then it was essentially people who would sell loans, mortgages to people who shouldn't have mortgage or loan. Same you have these basically slimy YouTuber people selling people crypto, and risky assets are going to go to zero when they have no business selling anyone anything financially related, because they have no education, they have no experience, and yet they, you know, can convince people to do risky stuff. So, you know, I can be really mean about it, but I'm just saying, I'm being really real. That's why I always tell you guys, please Google me, please Google anyone of these YouTubers, and you're going to find zero experience, zero education. And to me, this kind of stuff matters. I don't think it's a crazy thing to say that, you know, if you take advice from someone, you want to check their experience and their education. It's not crazy, right? Like if you find out, like for example, you go to the hospital and you want to get surgery, and you find out the person giving you surgery has never been a doctor and has no education as a doctor. Do you want to get surgery with that person? No, right? It's the same with financial things. If you find out like someone has never lived through a downturn, which we are now, and it's like I started with the Warren Buffett thing of where when the tide goes out, you find out who's swimming naked, right? So, you know, this stuff is real, guys, and that's why I'd make these videos for you. Again, he's going to be controlling our politics, Sam Bankman-Fried. The other issue as well was a lot of this money is off, not taxable stuff, and this is going to be a big fight in Congress to see what happens with like all the money being traded. And you know, the whole Bahamas thing, they're saying like 80% of the global trading on crypto is unregulated, untaxed. and illegal in the USA, which is kind of interesting. And Friedman's not alone. There's a couple other guys. The Binance guy, what's his name? It has it right here. Yeah, so the Binance guy is Xiaoping, or Zhao Xiaoping is probably how you say his name. So they're in the Singapore, and this other guy, Arthur Hayes. So I guess he's from Buffalo, which would be New York, but he lives in the Seychelles Islands, and I don't even know where that is. I'm gonna assume it's going to be the Bahamas. I don't know. I can't know every island, and this is where these people hide out, these islands. it's like James Bond villain, essentially, what we're talking about here. And you'll hear these things from time to time where, like, Binance, because it's not FTX, but just this is the stuff that happens. It's like they can just freeze your money at any time. There was someone over at CFTC, the commodities thing, and he's really worried about when Bankman-Fried is setting up his new regulations. He's going to make it easier for people to get leverage, and this is moreover risky, is that make it so they can just liquidate your accounts over the weekend. And that's sort of something you got to be really, really careful about with these kind of exchanges, is because of the unregulation and the amount of leverage in these things, they can just take your money whenever they want. They let people borrow too much money, and they can take your money whenever they want. That's the risk. That's why people should be upset about the Voyager thing, but understand that this is the world that we're getting into, and this is why FTX shouldn't be allowed to have too much control. You can see here, Coinbase is always talking about what happens to your money if they go bankrupt. That was the thing. And again, people are upset about the Voyager situation, which they should be, but this is what we get when we don't have these any regulations on this thing. People are going to lose everything. And the last thing I'll say too, which is sort of when this issue started to come up even more, it was the email that Tom Nash got. If you watched the last video, this is the actual email here. The basic, and you can pause it, you can read it for yourself. But the basic gist of it, they're just saying they're canceling Tom Nash's contract within 10 days. We'll see if they cancel other YouTubers. There are some that are still doing FTX videos to this day. I can make a video about that, but I don't want to put too much information in one video. And the last thing I'll leave you with is, I mention this all the time, please see the movie Margin Call if you haven't seen it. It is really, really good to kind of get an experience of the 08-09 crash and how people lie to their friends for money, essentially is what it is. And everyone has to deal with their conscience on that. So I do appreciate your time. Hopefully this is all helpful for you. I know this is a lot of information, but if you're interested in this stuff and you care about how the world works and you want to learn, this is sort of the stuff that I do, and this is how I do well in the market. You just kind of predict the future, understand where things are going, and essentially have clothes on when the tide goes out. So anyway, I do appreciate your time, and catch you in the next video.